Behind me is a 2018 Hyundai Kona. I think it's a really good car, but it's also $30,000. Whether a car this small from an automaker like Hyundai can be worth $30,000 is hard to say. But let me give you a little closer tour of this thing and well, you can decide for yourself. So this is I guess what you call a subcompact crossover. It competes with the likes of the Mazda CX-3, the Honda HR-V, the Toyota CHR, and a few others. It's based on Hyundai's small front-wheel drive platform, so it's kind of got a long nose, which really hurts its approach angle, but it's got also a pretty short departure angle. It's all-wheel drive, optional all-wheel drive like I mentioned. It's got some off-road features like locking center differential and hill descent control, but we've had this thing off-road for a couple miles now, and you know, while it's okay on these dirt forest roads that are pretty well maintained, it's really hindered by its low ground clearance and approach angles. So while it has some of those off-road features, this isn't an off-road vehicle. I can get by in a pinch, but you're probably better off with something else for off-road. Anyway, I think it's a really good car, that said. So up front here, you can see that Hyundai has kind of accounted for that long front end by integrating these plastic, I don't know what you'd even call them, but these plastic pieces here, they kind of serve to break it up and well, make it look a little less bulbous on the front end. A lot of vents up there, a lot of vents. The two-tiered lighting design is probably a matter of taste. I think it looks cool. As I mentioned, this is fully loaded, so I believe those are, let's see here, 18-inch wheels, wrapped in Goodyear Eagle touring tires. Let's take a look at the inside. So this thing has lots of driver assistance features. It has everything but radar cruise control, which is kind of funny, given that radar cruise control is one of the earlier driver's assistance features that came onto the market. Anyway, we'll step in here. So you've got a nice infotainment system with standard Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. This is an upfitted infotainment system. This is an 8-inch screen. I think base models, lower end models come with a 7-inch screen. Like I said, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. You've got a wireless charging pad down here, and you've also got this USB port, which is what you would use with the Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and then you've also got these two additional ports here that are installed as a dealer-installed accessory, which is kind of funny. Anyway, there's a little screen in between the gauges here, which is nice. It's color. There is a heads-up display on this top trim level model. Speaking of trim level, this is 2018 Hyundai Kona Ultimate. Here's the Monroney label. As you can see here, as equipped, $29,775. But that said, you get a lot for $30,000. It's just a really small car. And it's not from like a luxury automaker, which kind of makes that $30,000 figure seem a little steep. But anyway, that said, some things I really like about this thing. It's got all-wheel drive and a dual clutch transmission and a pretty potent 1.6 liter turbocharged engine making 175 horsepower. It does 0 to 60 in 6.6 seconds, which is pretty quick. That's faster than a Honda Civic Si, faster than a Fiat 500 Abarth. So yeah, that engine, the turbocharged engine's really nice. The 7-speed dual clutch automatic is pretty cool. You'll notice it doesn't have paddle shifters. I actually find myself wanting paddle shifters in a car like this. Anyway, the transmission is good. My personal vehicle, which is a 2011 Volkswagen GTI, also has a dual clutch transmission. In that case, it's a 6-speed automatic. And it's not quite as good as Volkswagen's DSG that's in a vehicle like my GTI, but it's pretty good. And you know, let's just be thankful it isn't a CVT, because it's a lot more engaging. It shifts, well, it shifts unlike a CVT, but it's a lot better to drive than a CVT. And I think if you drove the two back to back, I think it's something that most people would probably be able to appreciate. since we're out on a little adventure here, we've got our dogs with us, so we've got their dog sling in the back. You'll have to excuse that, but you can see backseat legroom, it's a little tight, but leather seats are nice, they're supportive. It's a nice perforated leather, which is always nice in hot weather because it breathes better. In terms of the door panels, this is hard plastic. This is like a soft, foamy leather material, as is this right here. This is kind of a higher quality plastic than what's right here. The door handles are a nice brushed aluminum, and as are the door locks. And then I should mention, on this top of the line model, you get an Infinity audio system. Anyway, around to the back. And cargo room isn't huge, but you still get that practicality of a hatchback, and assuming you aren't ferrying around backseat passengers, you always have the option to put the second row seats down, in which case this thing becomes extremely practical. Anyway, a couple quick stats, just going back to the window sticker, something that everybody is interested in. Kona with all-wheel drive and with that upper level 1.6 liter turbocharged engine, you're looking at 26 mpg city, 29 mpg highway, for a total of 27 mpg combined. Which, given that this thing is relatively powerful, all-wheel drive, and has that actually really engaging transmission, 27 mpg is pretty good. So, anyway, that about covers her. There is the 2018 Hyundai Kona. It's got some off-road features. I wouldn't call it an off-road vehicle, but that said, there's a lot to like about this thing. I love the dual clutch transmission. I love the relatively potent 1.6 liter turbocharged engine, and altogether it's a lot of fun to drive around town. Not to mention the fact that it has all-wheel drive. Anyway though, I give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.